Artzooka!
Hey, I'm Jeremy. Let's Artzooka. I've just come back from outer space. Well, okay, I just saw a movie about outer space. It had lots of spaceships and UFOs and flying saucers. The movie was about the galactic fleet. It looked like so much fun that I decided to make my own flying saucer. The first thing I need to make my flying saucer is a paper plate. I'm going to take a styrofoam bowl, place it on top of the plate, and then just trace all the way around the bowl like this. Then when I do that, I have a circle right here. The next step is to take my pen and draw a circle inside this circle. Now I don't need anything to trace this. I can just do this freehand. I just want to make sure that it's close to the first one that I drew. Now I'm going to take my push pin, and I'm very carefully going to start poking holes on the line that I just drew, the inner circle. I want to poke and poke and poke until I get the whole circle, and then when I've done that, I can take my plate and pop the bottom out of the plate. Now I have this hole here. The next step is to attach the bowl to the plate. And to do that, I'm going to take a piece of tape, place it right here, and then I'll take another piece and place it right here. These aren't the final pieces of tape. I just want to put them here to hold the bowl in place. I'm going to use these smaller pieces of tape here. I want to place them all the way around like this. And those are what's going to hold my bowl in place. Now once I've covered the whole thing, I get this. This will be the top of my flying saucer, but I need another one of these to make the bottom. And they connect like this. But before I connect them, I want to make a handle so I can make my flying saucer fly through the air. I'm going to take a toilet paper roll, turn my bowl upside down, and place the toilet paper roll inside. Then twist and push it hard into the styrofoam bowl to make a groove in the shape of a circle. The next step is to take my push pin again and start poking holes around just like this. So I poke these little tiny holes all around in the circle. That way I can push the circle out, and then I attach the toilet paper roll. Now once I've done that and I've taped it into place, it looks like this. And now with my handle, you can see my flying saucer can fly through the air. Now I want to work on the top of the UFO. And the first thing I want to do is make windows along the top so that my men inside can see. To do this, I'm going to take a button. I'm going to trace the button with a black marker. Now this is the same technique that we've been using all along. Once I have that circle, I draw a smaller circle on the inside. Then take my push pin and I poke holes all along the smaller circle. So I take it up here and then poke it out. And that is the little window. Now once I do that all around the top of my flying saucer, I get these little spaces. And check this out. They're the perfect size for a little marble. And it looks like a really cool window. Before I put my marbles in all the windows, I want to paint my flying saucer silver. Now, of course, I want to paint the top and I want to paint the bottom. And once I've covered both in paint, I set it off to dry. And when it's dry, it looks like this. It works great, but now it's time to Artzooka my flying saucer. So I'll bring the top back, and remember those windows? Well, now it's time to fill them with the marbles. So I have my marble here, and before I place it inside, I take a piece of tape, turn the top over, and tape on the back of one of the holes. Then I can turn it back over and place the marble right onto the tape. And that way it doesn't fall out. I want to add all the marbles and more decorations. And when I do, I have this. I added an antenna and some sequins on the side here, and then in here I added some more. You can Artzooka your flying saucer any way you like. Now that I'm finished the top, I'll take the bottom back and I can attach it together like this. Now to hold this in place, I'm going to use 2 little bulldog clips. The clips are great because you can open your flying saucer over and over. They lock down like this. Next, I put a flashlight into the bottom of my flying saucer. Then, what I want to do is turn off the lights. And now, when I turn the flashlight on, you can see it shines through the marbles. Now my flying saucer is ready to join the galactic fleet. And off it goes to boldly go where no one has gone before. To make my spaceship, I used a styrofoam bowl and a paper plate for the top, and another bowl and a plate for the bottom. I added a toilet paper roll to the bottom for a handle so I could fly my spaceship, and I painted the whole thing silver. I used marbles for windows, and when I put a flashlight into the handle, they all light up. For this and lots more fun things to make, go to Artzooka.com.
Silhouettes.
For a special treat, my mom brought home some takeout food. We washed the containers and look, it's shiny on one side. I'm going to use this to make a kaleidoscope. So the first thing I want to do is take a pen and make a mark right on the side here about the width of 2 of my fingers. Now once I have that mark, I can take my ruler and I'll just draw a line all the way across. And I want to make sure I press really hard with my pen. That way it makes it easier to fold later. Now I want to draw some lines in the other direction. I need 3 equal parts, so I'll draw a line here and another line right here. Now that I have my marks, I'm ready to make my folds. So I'll fold along the long line there, and then I fold the other line right there. Now that we have it folded, we're ready to cut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to cut off the shorter end. And then I save this piece because we're going to use that in a minute. But first, let me show you a really cool trick. Take an elastic band, wrap it around your kaleidoscope, and the reason we do that is because it makes it easier to place the tape on. So I'll take one piece of tape and put it on that end, and then another small piece of tape and put it on this end right here. Now I want to do the same thing to this smaller end. There we go. Alright, so now that I have my short triangle and my long triangle, I'm ready to start making a lens. And for the lens, I thought this clear plastic lid would be perfect. I'll place my smaller triangle on the lid, and with a black marker, just trace out the triangle shape. There we go. Now once I've cut it all out, it looks like this. You can see it's a little see-through triangle, and it fits perfectly on top of my shorter triangle. And now I can tape it into place. The tape can't be completely see-through, but it has to be see-through enough to let in some light. So I use 3 strips, one right there, one right there, and then a final one right here. So now that I've finished my shorter triangle, I'll move on to my longer one. First, I'll start off with the cut end of my long triangle. And I'm going to tape the cut end just with some clear tape. And basically, I just want to make a small screen. And the reason for that is so that my kaleidoscope pieces don't fall out of my kaleidoscope. But before we add our pieces, I think we need a little eye hole. So, for the eye hole, I thought it would be great to use this old cardboard I had laying around. I'll take my longer triangle and put the open end on the cardboard and trace around it, and then cut that out. Now this is our eyepiece, but I can't can't really see through it. So here's an awesome tip. Take your hole punch and I'll punch a hole through. Now this hole is a little small, so I'm just gonna punch a few more extra holes, and that way my eyes can actually see through it. Now I'm ready to assemble my kaleidoscope. So I'll take my eyepiece, and I just want to place it onto the large triangle. Once I have it into place, I just tape it there. Now I'm ready to add my smaller triangle. So, there we go. And once I have it lined up, I take a small piece of tape and I just tape it on one end. That way the smaller triangle hinges like a door. Now that I have my small triangle opened up like this, I can add the magic touch. I have here in this bowl little pieces of cut up plastic bottles. Now I have a whole bunch of colors here, and that's what's going to give our kaleidoscope the kaleidoscope look. So I think I'll take one pinch and just add in some of these little plastic pieces. Once I've done that, I close my little triangle and I just tape it shut. Now when you're taping this shut, you want to make sure you cover all of the holes so that our little plastic pieces don't fall out. And there we go. My kaleidoscope is basically done. Now I thought it would be really cool if I decorated it. So here's one I did earlier. I took some really nice paper and I wrapped it all the way up and then taped it shut. Wow! Oh, amazing! If you have a fast food container lid that's shiny on the inside, some small pieces of colored plastic, and some tape, you can make your own kaleidoscope. Go to our website at artzooka.com.
Art? Hi, Jeremy. My name is Anisha. What can you make from things that go on a bicycle?
That's a good one. Let's see what I can Artzooka. Bicycle stuff. Bicycle pants, gloves. I've got an idea. It's a pony. It's all in how you look at it. Did you ever notice when it's dark, things look different and interesting? I have a special kind of light I like to look at when it's dark. It looks ordinary during the daylight, but when it's dark, it looks extraordinary. I'll show you how to make one. The first thing I need for my nightlight is an empty bottle. I'm going to use the bottom of this bottle for my nightlight. To make it, I'm going to use a sheet of white paper. Any white paper will work, but just try not to use construction paper, and I'll show you why later. I drew all these shapes on my paper, but you can draw any shapes you want. Now, I'm ready to add some color, and for color, I'm going to use paint. I have some really nice blue paint and yellow paint, and some green and red paint. Now I think I'll start off with the red paint, and I'll paint myself a nice red square. And red is really great because it's such a bright color. I think next I'll use blue. And I'll paint myself a blue rectangle. I chose blue because blue matches my shirt. That looks pretty good. Now, of course, you can cover yours in any color you like, and when you're done, set it off to dry. Here's one I did earlier. Now, this looks really good. Check this out. I colored in all my shapes, then I used yellow for the background. And I used yellow because it makes it easier for the nightlight to shine through. Now, this looks really great, but I want to add something to make it look really cool when it's in the dark. And I'll show you how. So what I need is a ruler and a crayon. So go all the way across, splitting my page in half. Now I'll take my ruler, move it up to the top on the other side of that line, and I'm going to color my whole bottom with the crayon. The reason I'm leaving the ruler there is so I don't color over the straight line I drew earlier. Now, it's really important that you use a crayon to color this and use a darker color. That's why I'm using purple. And when I've done that, it looks like this. The bottom half of my nightlight is colored in purple. Now I'm going to take a regular stir stick and I'll show you a really cool trick. I'm going to make some designs by scraping off the top layer of crayon. Now, of course, I want to cover this whole thing with really cool designs, and when I'm finished, it looks like this. I made a rectangle, some small stars, circles, and a big star right here. Now that we've gone this far, it's time for the secret ingredient. And this is what's going to make my nightlight really work. So I flip my page over, and I'm going to use some cooking oil and a paintbrush. So I'm using my brush to paint the oil on the back side of my nightlight. Now, remember earlier when I said we don't use construction paper? Well, the reason is because when I paint the oil on, construction paper would fall apart. Now, I want to cover the whole thing and then set it off to dry. And when it's dry, it'll look like this. You can't really see any difference yet, but when you shine the light through, the oil will make it look really special. Now I'm ready to build my nightlight. I'm going to use this plastic bottle with the top cut off. So I'll turn my page over. I'll just glue the top part of my paper. Just like that. Now, once I have the glue in place, I wrap my paper around the bottle. And then the glue catches the paper. Now, this is pretty much ready. We just need the last two most important things for this to work: light and darkness. This is my light. And you can see this is what it looks like in the daylight. And this is what it looks like in the dark. Now that's Artzooka. For all the steps for making your own glowing nightlight, plus lots of other fun ideas, go to our website at artzooka.com. And now, time for an Artzooka safety message. Remember, when making a pie plate UFO, be careful not to make it look too real.
Artzooka! Yeah!
For my Artzooka Recycle Challenge, I challenged myself to make something out of a shovel and a red pen. I put them in a movie starring Paper Bag. Come on, see what I made. I also put something else in my movie, a cotton swab. See if you can spot where I put it. Now, sit back and enjoy Cinema Artzooka. Here's the shovel. And there's the red pen. Can you guess what it is? It's a swamp boat. Now let's see it in a movie. Did you like the movie? I made a swamp boat out of a shovel and a red pen. Hey, did you spot the cotton swab? Take another look at where I put it. Here's a challenge. See if you can make something out of a shovel and a red pen. Be creative, anything goes. And when you do, take a picture and email it to me at the Artzooka website at artzooka.com. What will you Artzooka today?